Hi everybody, my name is Jaday and she is Dafne. Today we're going to talking about second language acquisition and what is the opinion of the learners.
Yeah. We think that it's very important to know the personal opinion of learners because with them, the teachers insert methods, activities, or any kind of the habit to create um, a good learning for the learners.
We have a guest, he's Dennis, he's a student and he is learning Russian, German, English and Italian.
So Dennis, tell us, how do you feel today?
I'm fine. I feel a little bit tired, but everything is okay.
This is a little interview, but it's easy. So, you have the first question.
Yes, please. And you consider the text translation help you in your developmental uh,
Opportunity to develop some structures, but in other cases there are some structures that doesn't work as in Spanish. For example, when we ask a question with a preposition, that preposition comes to the end of the question. For example, who did you go with? And that's different to Spanish because in Spanish we put that preposition at the beginning of the question. And other cases, but in general, I would say that depends on the text you are reading or you want to say.
The second question is, which are the habits that implement when you learn a second language?
Well, I do a lot of activities like listening to music or watching some videos or even series in Netflix, maybe in the original language with subtitles. That helps me a lot because I know the specific words they use when they speak the real language, not the audios we listen to in the classes, because I think that are more mechanic. And a good idea is also listen to the radio because there is not a limit of words and you can hear about different topics. And I really like playing some games.
Like an offline games?
I don't know if you know Scrabble. That's a good idea to learn more vocabulary, and I also attend another activities
Because
maybe.
when we play Scrabble, we use a dictionary because
Yes, actually. And I also attend other classes in Cele and at Supale. There are good teachers that can help me with the topics that I don't understand really well. And basically, those are the activities I do.
Your teachers implement the activities, in this case the reading or oral comprehension.
Uh, yes, yes, they do. Um, my teachers normally ask us to read a book during the whole course, and it depends on us. The book we decide to choose, and we read it during the whole course, and we make some glossaries or summaries about the story in general, and taking advantage from that situation, we can discuss some points or some important facts, not only from the book, but from the writer, from the context in which the book was written.
So you consider that you have a communication with your parents when you output the oral comprehension in the second language.
Okay, about oral comprehension, maybe it's not a common activity as reading, but I would not say that it's a competition. I would say that it's a mutual help. I mean, when I learn something new, I can help my classmates to understand well the topic or some vocabulary or structures, and in that way I can I learn how to help my classmates. But when I need something, when I don't understand a topic very well, then I can ask them for help, and in that way it's not a competition, it's a mutual help, I would say that.
So when we talk about the habits, so these habits you implying when you, I don't know how to say that. Okay, according to the habit, you have make manage to improve your oral comprehension when you talk with your teachers or your classmates.
Okay, the activities I do to improve my oral comprehension helps me a lot for the activities in the classroom and also for the exams. I mean, when I have the listening part in the exam, that doesn't seem very difficult to me because I had practiced a little bit before the exam, and I think that's an advantage for me because not all the students have that habit. And what else?
Is your
maybe
opinion?
maybe in the classroom we don't do many listening exercises, but I try to practice more at home, listening to the radio or watching some videos, and try to adapt myself to different accents, not only English from the
American
UK
English or
and
British.
American English, but also from Australia, New Zealand, and some African countries. That
Canadian
helps a lot.
English.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you as a learner, how long you rely in a conversation of a second language with other learners?
Maybe that depends on the topic I have to talk to, because sometimes I don't have the knowledge of the topic, or maybe if we have to create a conversation about a specific situation, we have to look for specific words or phrases in order to have a wider variety of words and to not sound repetitive, or in order to try to make better the conversation, to be fluent. But actually, I'm a guy that thinks a lot before saying something, and
You process in your brain.
In that way, I can manage the structures or maybe the words or the tenses that I have to use. And that is the strategy I use every time that I have to speak or I have to create a conversation with a classmate.
So, oh my God. You consider a good attitude when you learn the second language?
Yes, all the time. I try to participate in the class. Every time I have or I feel I have the correct answer of an exercise, I try to participate and to share my ideas with all the classmates and also with my teacher. That way I feel more confident with myself and also I really appreciate when my teacher realizes that and when he tries to help me, giving me some feedback or some information about how to correct my errors. It can be about pronunciation, grammar, structure of specific vocabulary that I have to use.
So, do you think it's important that teachers create a good environment that the learners feel confident when they speak?
Yes, absolutely. I think the teacher plays a very important role in the classroom because if the teacher is not a dynamic person, maybe
The lazy
maybe
person.
here when we have a class at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's not very attractive to have a conversation in English or to learn some structures about grammar, you know. But on the other hand, when we have a good teacher who tries to make the students more active, when we have to talk to other classmates, that's a benefit for us because it doesn't matter the time when we take the class. We have the attitude to participate, to share our own ideas, and actually the environment is better, and that encourages all the students to take part in the class.
Okay, what do you think about the students that prefer to make separately grammar classes?
It's a very good question. I think grammar is important, but it's not everything when you learn a new language. Specifically in English, it's a good point because grammar means a very important part in the language. You can change words or you can follow some rules to make sentences and then share your ideas, but that's not everything when you learn a new language. I would say it wouldn't be a really good idea to separate grammar classes from the other parts of the language, because in that way you concentrate only in that part and you don't practice the knowledge you have received in a real situation. You just learned structures. It's like learning math at school, and I think if you have a lot of rules in your mind, you get annoyed or it's not interesting for you learning English if you just learn grammar structures. I think the best way is to learn all the parts or the activities about the foreign.
So, Denise, what kind of activities would you like to do in your classroom of the second language?
Actually, the kind of activities that I like the most are the ones when we have to speak and share an opinion. I mean,
Really?
when we have to discuss, giving arguments about a topic, and that's a kind of debate. And I really like that because in our real life, we have to defend an idea with arguments, and that's something that we are not get we don't have the habit to do that. For that reason, I think that that would be a great activity, especially for us that are students of languages, and maybe in the future in our jobs we're going to have to defend ideas, or I don't know, to maybe when we have a project we have to give some arguments about it, why it is good or why not.
What do you think about the students that are very shy that don't speak in the classroom?
But also, some students are shy, but also the other students are very, I don't know how to say that, sorry, I forget how to say that. But,
Okay, I think that is a disadvantage because when you don't have the habit to speak or to talk with other people, it becomes difficult for you to give an idea, and maybe when you are in the classroom you don't show an active attitude, and I'm very sure that that is not the kind of attitude that the enterprises outside are looking for. And I think when we have the attitude to speak a lot, maybe we can make more mistakes, but in that way we can learn more.
the knowledge.
Yes.
Everything is of the
yes.
knowledge.
Do you are dependent or independent about your learning?
Totally independent, but when I really need when I really need help, obviously I have to ask my teacher for the doubts I have, but also I try to practice more at home, doing many activities from all the abilities. I mean, listening, reading, or etc. And even when my teacher is not good, or when he or she doesn't have much experience at teaching, I have to look for other ways to learn that topic that I don't understand, and maybe I can ask another classmate, or I don't know, watching videos in YouTube with a person explaining the topic, and in that way you are not you don't feel alone. Maybe you are not working very good at in the classroom, but at home you have to try to look for other ways to learn.
So when you stay at home, you try to record it yourself when you speak in English, Italian, Russian, or any kind of language.
Not actually.
But you don't hear it, your voice.
No, actually I don't do that activity. I just
Or speak with
I
the
just
neighbor?
try to speak with some friends, or I try to go with other teachers. For example, in Cepale, there are conversation clubs when you can speak a lot about a specific topic and improve your knowledge with other people that are also trying to improve their knowledge, and in that way you can learn more about a topic and more words, or maybe some doubts that you have about grammatic structure.
Oh, no, it's stressful. You have a study of second language, it's more stressful when you learn the second language.
Um, Specifically in English, I will say that about that question you are asking me is phrasal verbs, because in Spanish we don't have that. It's difficult for me because maybe I learned the first part as a regular verb, but when we add a preposition, the meaning changes, and that's why I think phrasal verbs are, for me, one of the most complicated things to learn in English. And also maybe some tenses or some another kind of structures like conditionals, because we have to change the tenses in the first or in the second clauses, and it's a kind of play with two clauses in order to say something with sense, with coherence.
In your personal opinion, do you think that the age is important for learn a second language?
Yes, I do. I think the best age to learn
Yes.
a new language is, okay. The younger you are, the better the better is to learn another language, because when we are young, I don't know, we have that attitude, or that kind of feeling that we can learn all the things we receive. On the other hand, when we are older or maybe adults, that doesn't work in the same way, because we have a background, we have learned some ways in which the language works itself. I think maybe we can, in the future, if we have our children, we can learn them in a very early age, in order to try to make sure that they are learning really well a second language.
Yeah. So thank you very so much for this interview.
You're
I hope
welcome.
you enjoyed it. So that's it. Thank you. Jaday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In conclusion, we agree with the guests because there are a lot of students that they have a different way to think about to create new habits for learn a second language.
The students have to consider the option for learned not only in the classroom, and we should create a new habit for learn and improve our knowledge.
So I think that this topic is too easy to understand because it's more like the opinion of the guests. So easy, I think, because we agree that it's very important to learn a second language and create a new habit, and also it's important the environment. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.